Okay, Romesh Sobti, Managing Director and CEO of IndusInd Bank joins us, the man of the moment right now. Mr. Sobti, congratulations on this deal. Now let's understand the definition what you've sent to exchanges. It is an exclusivity MOU. So is this a done deal or there are still some last minute negotiations which are open?
No, I think this is exclusivity, confidentiality and a standstill agreement. Standstill means that you will not talk to anybody else. So this is the remnant sort of due diligence has to be completed, and then it results in a definitive agreement and subject to the approvals of the respective boards.
Examine the books of Bharat Financials. Are you okay with the book quality, with the asset quality, or that is still subject to your analysis?
No, I think asset quality issues and all, we are satisfied. I think we have most of it is behind them, and that was also reflected partly in last quarter's results. So I think the asset quality issue is not an issue. I mean, the boards have to approve a fair value, and it comes to a good price and a share swap ratio, and that's going to take a few weeks.
On that very subject, Mr. Sobti, on the share swap, we believe that the pricing will be over 1,000 for Bharat Financial. Any details out there? Because the market is very anxious to know that aspect over the last 6 months. In fact, there's been much deliberation on that.
Yeah, see, there can't be speculation on the pricing at this stage. It has to go to the board. So I don't think any of us can talk about the pricing. But the principles of the pricing have been agreed, and I think the shareholders on both sides should be smiling once the deal is done.
Foreign investors will have a very large role to play because of the current ownership of Bharat Financials. So what is the word which you're getting from foreign institutional investors? Because their endorsement and their voting is very important for this deal to go through.
Yeah, I think we have not heard any discordant voices. There is a large base of common shareholders also, which we discovered. So we have not heard any voices of discord. I think the proposition is very strong. It's accretive on day one. For Bharat Financial, it means you become a bank overnight once the deal is done. And the whole asset book then comes in at a wider margin because cost of funds drops very, very significantly. And for the bank, of course, additional benefits are that risk weightages fall immediately because risk weightage in the hands of banks is 75%, so capital usage is lower. And of course, the entire portfolio is the private sector. So all around accretive, so I think shareholders should be happy on both sides.
Cost of funds fall, as you pointed out, for Bharat Financial, given that their lending rate is much higher than yours?
Yeah, no, the cost of funds now becomes the bank's cost of funds, which is a steep drop over the cost of funds that they are paying today. And therefore, on day one, the entire portfolio gets a wider margin. Even if the yield on the lending remains the same, the margin increases.
Would that be, sir, the increased margin that you're talking about for the combine?
Yes. So increased margin is, they are paying a higher cost of funds today because they are borrowing from banks. And now it will be funded by the bank itself. Therefore, the cost of funds drops pretty steeply. And therefore, the margin accrues. It becomes very accretive.
When do you think the board meeting is likely to be conducted to decide on the swap ratio?
Yeah, so there are some activities which will precede that. So as I said, there's a remnant due diligence. Then there is the fair valuation reports, etc. So those are the logistics that lead up to the board meeting. So it's going to take a few weeks between.
Expect the final swap ratio in this quarter, or it should happen in this quarter?
Well, if it's going to take a few weeks, then it is going to spill over.
What any indication from RBI? Are they okay with a microfinance company getting merged with a bank and vice versa?
Well, Nikhil, there are two precedents already. There were smaller MFIs. So in the banking arena. So there are precedents. So I think there is some degree of reassurance that the regulator will hopefully look at it in an agreeable fashion.
Right. Mr. Sobti, I have to put this across to you because, most of the market is working with, a swap ratio of 1.5 Bharat Financial shares for one share in IndusInd Bank. Does that sort of a ratio make sense to you?
If I tell you the swap ratio, then you can calculate the price. So the swap ratio and the price, I think, is the board preserved on both sides. I don't think we can talk about it in this stage.
Right. How would, I know you've said that, asset quality of Bharat Financial is not a concern and that you'll deal with it. What is the approach towards tackling it? Would it be merged with IndusInd Bank, or would there be a write-off? What is the approach towards tackling that problem? Because, a bit of an overhang is really on the bad loans they bring to your books.
No, I think the books have been cleaned out. And you've seen that in the last 2 quarters. Very aggressive provisioning has been made. So I think the books will be in a very clean sort of a shape when they actually move into the books of the bank.
But Mr. Sobti,
that's not a concern area for us.
The bigger point is that you're trying to merge two lending cultures. And, you're a retail bank with excellent lending standards. Microfinance business is a high growth business, but the lending standards may not be called best in the breed, so to speak. I'm not talking about Bharat Financial, I'm talking about MFI business per se. So two ideologies, can they come together and coexist?
I think that ideology has been adopted by the bank many, many years ago in building its own microfinance portfolio. And it's not only in this bank. I think this management team also did microfinance in Indian Agro. So microfinance is very much in our DNA.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/ETNow.